This is Mrs. Claus, and today I'm going to read you a book about Charlie Claus, Santa's very best friend. Charlie Claus is Santa's best friend. Although you may never have heard of him, he's very important to Santa. Charlie takes his job as Santa's best friend very seriously. Every night at 9 o'clock, when Santa goes to sleep, Charlie curls up at the end of his bed to warm Santa's feet. And every morning at 7 o'clock, when Santa wakes up, Charlie brings him his bathrobe and slippers so he won't be cold. And every day at 12 o'clock, he sits with Santa and keeps him company while they have lunch together. And every afternoon, Charlie trots beside Santa, playing and doing tricks, and Santa roars with laughter, "Ho, ho, ho." Last Christmas, there was even more children than ever. Every day, the mail brought Santa more and more letters from boys and girls asking for toys. There were rag dolls and teddy bears to sew, paper kites to string, doll houses to build, and planes and boats, and fire engines to paint. As Santa and his elves worked harder and harder, Charlie began to worry about Santa more and more. Every night at 9 o'clock, Charlie curled up at the end of Santa's bed, but Santa didn't crawl into bed until very late. And by then he was too sleepy to even notice if his feet were cold. And every morning at 7 o'clock, Charlie brought Santa his bathrobe and slippers, but Santa hurried to work fast past Charlie, and he forgot to put them on. And every day at 12 o'clock, Charlie sat at the table by himself, waiting for Santa to come. But Santa was too busy to eat. And every afternoon, Charlie ran beside Santa, doing tricks, but Santa never noticed. He was busy working. Santa was looking very tired. He was sneezing a lot and losing some of his roly-poly belly from skipping meals. And he had stopped laughing. What if Santa gets sick, Charlie thought. That would be terrible. Who would deliver all the toys to the boys and girls? Only if something he could do could help Santa. Charlie had never been very good with his paws, but he decided to give it a try. But no matter how Charlie tried, he made more and more of a mess. The elves began to giggle, but Charlie didn't give up. Charlie was being more trouble than help until finally Santa said, "Please just sit quietly and watch." So Charlie sat quietly next to the big can of red paint, and when Santa walked by, Charlie stood up and wagged his tail, and wham, it landed in that big pail of red paint. "Ho, ho, ho," laughed Santa. Charlie wagged his tail harder and harder. "Ho, ho, ho," laughed Santa. "At last you found a job to do." Charlie looked behind him, and his bright red tail was swishing red paint onto a fire truck. Charlie howled with joy. "Oh, oh, oh." "Ho, ho, ho," laughed Santa. "Oh," howled Charlie. Charlie had finally found a way to help Santa. Santa put him in charge of all the painting. Charlie painted all of the dollhouses, the airplanes, boats and fire engines, and smiles on the faces of the rag dolls. This made less work for Santa and the elves. Soon Santa was feeling like his old self again, and he and Charlie loaded up the sleigh with all the toys that Charlie had painted. And on Christmas Eve, Santa took to the sky with his best friend Charlie Claus right beside him.